and good evening to you from wherever you are joining us. This is Mayegun live. Thank you very much, brethren, for joining me. And remember, as you are tuning in, just make sure you read beyond just the caption of the broadcast, okay? Read the description of the broadcast as well. Like it, share it. Invite your friends, invite your not so friendly friends. Tell them all that Mayegun today. And if you have done that right already, thank you. Tonight, we are following the reactions of people, which, seems to be, tripping in and what have you. In the last 48 hours, especially, prior to the end of the Ramadan, the Ramadan fast, we have seen the northern influencers on social media pushing the agenda of retaliation, right? The retaliation against not just the people of Uromi, retaliation against the people of the southern part of Nigeria, while some within them were also pushing or doing everything to try to make this the north versus the south thing. Others, on the other hand, are pretty much being specific by pointing fingers, accusing fingers at the Igbos for the lynching of 16 supposed Hausa travelers, hunters, they call them. There are so many people who don't believe that these guys were just hunters with endless rhetorical questions on, I'm talking about questions that you are likely not expecting any answers. Somehow you have to make up the answers yourself, rhetorical questions. But when the Arewas started this, I would say online, okay, because that's where we have seen most of it. When these Arewas started their threats against just everyone in the southern part of Nigeria and picking out the Igbos from it, even though that one seems not to have gained enough momentum, among them, because except for one unconfirmed report of a trader that is reported to have been attacked and killed, an Igbo man, right, in Kano. Now, it's like I said, it's unconfirmed. So apart from this, right, we haven't really seen any direct, attack on anyone yet. So when this happened, like I said, that people have so many questions, right? When this happened, I'm talking about the killings, right? When that happened, there are those who justified it by saying, yeah, they were terrorists, right? There are others who believes that no, this is not right. Meanwhile, if there is going to be anybody to be held responsible for their action, let it be those who really carry this out, investigate and be sure that indeed, right, these guys were just travelers. Holding on to that. The Arewas are not satisfied, or should I say they are influencers who are pushing the agenda of retaliation. And their own form of retaliation is, let's go look for the Benin people in Kano. Let's go look for the Uromi people in Sokoto so that we can, kill them too. This is what they are pushing on, the agenda they are pushing online. The Dodoyo governor of Edo State, Okwe Odoyo, is currently in Kano. I don't know if he's going to sleep there or not, but before this broadcast, he was still in Kano. Trying to, number one, they said he went there to, sympathize or commiserate with the victim's family. But that is not really wise. He went there anyway, to see their governor as part of the move to douse the tension of what this has caused, okay? There's so many stories, by the way, surrounding this already. There's so many stories of how or what happened or how it happened and all that, right? So when Okweodoyo got to Kano, they told him categorically that the only thing that will probably stop them from avenging, that's the word, or avenging the death of these 16 Hausa travelers or hunters, is for the Edo State government not to tell them that they've arrested people. They wanted them paraded in the streets so that they, from their base in Arewa, can probably see the faces of the mob and all that. And they said that would be the beginning of any kind of a reconciliation whatsoever, if anybody is pushing any. Okweodoyo hasn't really responded to that yet. So tonight, I am going to share with us, right, the reactions of different people, including the women of Uromi, who have been protesting as well, right? And they are protesting that those arrested must be freed. It's all messed up right now, okay? But for the start, there was a guy who was on Arise News, right, earlier today. According to him, right, this is what really happened. According to him, he said the report that, you know, some travelers were stopped by vigilantes, and then in the process of searching them, they found 14 Dane guns, and they called them kidnappers or terrorists. He said that is really, really further from the truth, because that's not what happened. According to him, he said the vigilantes in Edo State, in Uromi Axis and what have you, received an intel that there are some northerners, in fact, they call them bandits, traveling via Dangote truck. That's what he said, right? And immediately they got to Uromi. The vigilantes stopped to search them. Said while they were searching them, one of them actually stabbed one of the vigilantes. That's his story, not my own story, right? So, and that was where things got out of hand, because one of them just screamed and said, well, finally we have them. These guys are bandits. These guys are terrorists. The mob took them. So I'll start with that before going into other reactions. Or should we? Okay, let's start with this first.
One, you need an enabling act to be able to operate. What we did was to operate under the community policing. You know, at least we have an access to do what we are doing. And what is the main function of vigilante groups? To gather information, which we process for intelligence to work. Now, for a very long time, you remember in 2022, this same Uromi, there was armed robbery that robbed about 5-6 banks. Then in 2023, Igweben, AKM railway station, there was abductors, kidnappers that went away without, you know, visible response. Was that there has been this, you know, incidences of, you know, kidnapping and here and there. So there is this belief that a particular set of people with their code of behavior and order, for instance, most of these causative factors are now becoming headers and crisis disease that used to happen in Benue. So when people bring cows to come and breed in Edo Central, especially that Uromi area, I think what they need to do is to ranch them, because these cows are just let loose, damaging the farmers' crops. So there is this tension that is already boiling, that these cows are damaging our food crops. So the taking laws into hand is one area the governor is looking at now, because no matter what happens, you do not have any right to take another person's life unjustly.
So how do you check this effectively to ensure that you don't have another Borno, you know, on our hands? I mean, the herders-farmer clashes all the way from the north, it seems to be moving down south. What needs to be done to check it very quickly? We talk about ranching.
Now, first and foremost, the leaders of this community that allow these people to come and rear cows for them must sensitize the people to know that they have come to do legitimate business and not, you know, this underground movement. And you must know your environment. If people flock in to say they want to work with you, would you know their identity? Have you processed them to know whether they are genuine or not, or whether they are hiding under the canopy of, you know, cattle rearing to cause mayhem? So the leaders of the community themselves should be alive to their responsibilities. If you allow people to come and wreck house and say they pay you homage or whatever, you must let them know that there are laws that are governing, that environment. And the police too has to be very proactive when these issues happen. Those people that did that, let me also correct one impression here. It was not a one-sided thing that happened in Oromi. Right. When these people were stopped, they said they were going to go in to search the vehicle because they had local information that they were actually carrying arms. So in the process of struggling to go inside, one of them stabbed one of the vigilante guys. So in the process of that, hell was let loose. One, you need a
hell was let loose, according to him. All right. They have history. They've had history of the Fulani terrorists. Fulani, specifically Fulani terrorists, not Hausas. And we're now talking about the people that have become so traumatized, left on their own at the mercy, or left them to the mercy of the terrorists, people who have paid ransoms, people who have buried their loved ones. So from what that guy said, it seemed like we have been hearing just one side of the story, except for the finger pointing, which is all about, okay, where were you when they did this? Where were you? What did you say? Did you even come up to speak out for us? What about all the killings? What about so many people who have personal experiences in the hands of these terrorists? How true it is that they received an intel that some group of people are armed and they are passing through Uromi, Edo State. Then which part or when did they remove the part where one of them actually stabbed the vigilante? Don't get me wrong, because to me, right, like he said, I don't think anybody has any right to take another person's life, including the Fulani terrorists who have been taking lives of innocent people, innocent, indigenous people across the southern part of Nigeria. So you get what I mean? Like, I am not saying it's justified, but however, what would you do in an instance where the trauma that you have been left with, the insecurity and the rest of that, right? Then you receive a report, an intel, they call it. And then one of you got stabbed by the supposed, assailants that you received an intel on. This is where the government failure, right, is more pronounced like that. That people are on their own and you should do whatever you can to stay alive. So how did those who were supposed to be traveling to northern part of Nigeria for Salah, that's the story, they were traveling to northern Nigeria for Salah, all right, and their path got diverted, deviated to Uromi. So now, to the people of Uromi themselves, the Edo people, Edo North, Edo Central, those Igu Ben or something like this, the place is called, right? So they are direct victims, right, who have been on their own for years, when nobody seems to probably even like care, So some of them have been expressing their personal disgust towards what these Arewas are pushing on social media, these threads, I'll use this as well, like, the form of rage that is coming from the Arewas, especially their influencers on social media. So people are now questioning that, like, where was your rage when videos after videos, right, were uploaded on social media online to expose the atrocities, the killings of the indigenous people by the Fulanis? Where was your rage? There wasn't any rage per se. So if you can, probably gaslight and blackmail the politicians, or like this guy, the Opeodoyo, of Edo, your governor of Edo, right? If you can gaslight them or blackmail them to come down, to come and pay homage to you, prostrate or whatever, that's your business. But when it comes to us, the victims of the insecurity in this part of Nigeria, right? I don't even think people believe that Okwe represents them. It's unfortunate though. During their campaign, Okwe categorically told the Edo people that it was going to bring them insecurity. Now, you see this happening right now. Before he came, Edo people have been suffering from the insecurity, don't get me wrong, right? So now that he is there, it's not changing. It's not reducing, stopping, or what have you. So to them, Okwe is representing himself. If he comes to Kano to talk to you guys, maybe it's just to massage your ego. If you do anyhow, you see anyhow. If any southerner is touched up north, many northerners will be touched down south. But here was Okwe in Kano pledging to them that what would they want, like whatever they want, he was going to do it to make them feel less painful about what just happened. You know something? Since Okwe became the governor of Edo State, he has never, for once, visited any community in his own state where this Fulani terrorism is so strong. You know, when people make videos of being kidnapped, crying, complaining, and all of that online, your governor of Edo State has never, not once, ever visited any of the scene, talk less of at least providing them any form of a succor or protection. No. So he drove nearly 700 kilometers to Kano. Well, probably to beg them not to attack Southerners, since they all have an idea of what these guys are capable of, right? I'm coming.
I've come to condole with him, with the rest happening. So funny that the incident that happened in Edo State is something that we never pray for, and we don't pray for it in the future. We're here to say, to let you know that Edo people, we are not happy, we sympathize with you. Even though we also lost some people, but we feel more of your pain because these were passing by going for a festive. So we just come to talk to you for you to take heart. The president is doing something drastic about this. He's not happy also. So far so good. The IG have seen the two actions. The DIG, CID is the one in charge. So far they arrested about 14 suspects. So they are bringing them to Abuja for proper interrogation. And I believe with all our steps that we have taken, peace will return. We also set up a committee to see that we take care of the family of the deceased. Thank you.
Your Excellency, dear brother and Governor of Edo State, I'm glad that you are here. I've seen the incident occurred. I've spoken with you on the phone severally to show the concern of our people, the concern of Nigerians in respect to what happened. And I'm glad by your actions, the way you started to act immediately by the incidents of court is commendable. You had to visit our people in Edo State, visit the scene of the incident, and you took several actions. I've been told, and I've been talking with you, is something that you should be commended for. And I'm really happy because you went into action to get those people arrested in conjunction with the police, which is good, trying to make sure that they are arrested and are brought to justice, because this is what we want at this time. We cannot do.
So that was your governor of Edo, to reassure them, right, that they were sorry. He didn't just visit, he also pledged to compensate the families of the victims. There's never been any kind of compensation whatsoever to the families of those who have been kidnapped or killed in Edo State since he became their governor, just for the record. Do you understand that now? On the side, some will say he's doing the right thing. You know, like you do everything to make sure that you douse the tension, not fuel it. But you also have your own people who are very upset, very angry. They felt abandoned, let down on their own. And of course,